Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Paul Altman Show. For me, it's been a while since I did an episode, and finally, you have that chance. Because I went to see the new Aladdin film, which, in my review, is a good movie. Although Will Smith is too hilarious to be playing Aladdin, or no, Genie. I'm sorry. I was thinking about something else. Jesus Christ. But then, wow. I'm still looking at the news feed right now. And, apparently, the news that no one really cares is that Tatum O'Neal turns against Michael. I mean, come on now. I mean, I don't think that we should be worrying about what Tatum has to say. I mean, it ain't no slice of pizza, I'll tell you that right now. Because of a dire strength of whatchamacallit, of problems, we already know that Leaving Neverland was just a fluke. Everybody knows that it's the money grab. But someone wanted to play hardball, I'll tell you that. And just like in my last two previous episodes, I mentioned that Wade Robson and James Safechuck are not, I wouldn't say trusted, should not be trusted, but they're also criminal themselves because they both committed perjury under the court of law. And I studied that shit, and I come to realize that everything in that documentary is the most ridiculous things and the most uneducated thing that I have ever saw in a complete mock to the actual sex abuse survivors. And I do appreciate that, it's I wouldn't say it like that, but I want everybody to understand it's the most smallest things, the smallest holes in their stories that it becomes bigger, but yet everybody knows it, but they're just trying to think about their careers. And Chris Tucker never said anything in regarding to Michael in that documentary. And Frank Casio, who was one of Michael Jackson's youngest friends, that hung out with the guy, wrote a book called My Friend Michael. And yeah, it's pretty interesting that this is just another bogus lies. Just a lot of bogus lies. Macaulay Culkin laughed it off, basically calling him a good friend. And what else? What else do I need to get down? Oh yeah, let's review of Leaving Neverland, shall we? Okay, number one. We already know about part one of Leaving Neverland, right? With Wade and James, have a sit down and talk about how they met Michael Jackson. And it's at first, don't get me wrong, it's kind of like almost hypnotizing, but it gets stranger a little bit. It gets a little bit more, not normal about it. Like, I'm gonna try to give you the most 3 ways of possibilities with that. Here's a little timeline about it. He said there is I don't know. Dang. But I will tell you this, is that here's this one thing. Yes, the Robson family came to America to meet Michael and meet up with Michael and go to the ranch, which is Michael's ranch, which was the Neverland Ranch, which has now been renamed as the Sycamore Valley Ranch. I mean, yeah, they only hung out with him like for a day or so, and then all of them, the mother, the father, Chantel, and Wade in particular. And yes, they went to the Grand Canyon, and Wade went with them. Okay, he did not stay with Michael that weekend. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows this. Everybody. It's not just me. Everybody. It's also been stated in a 1994 transcripts or testimony. And not only there's transcripts, but it's also and what's coming to grips. Okay? He said that he went to the Grand Canyon with his mother at the time, and his mother corroborated with Wade's story. And it's really, really difficult to really get to it, because as you could tell when you hear me hesitating about it, because there is more evidence of the truth out there, rather than, trying to recreate history, I'm assuming. Alright, let me stop. Let me go to the next one. Okay? According to Wade, and this is what Wade said, he said that Michael told him to stay away from other women? No, that was a far off. That's far off. And it's a little far off because, and that's off-putting because I could have sworn, we all knew that you dated Michael's niece named Brandy, who you and her were younger, and then you guys and you both lost virginity to each other, while the meanwhile you were having sex with Britney Spears and other female chicks that it would help advance his career, which is Wade, what we're talking about here. I believe it is the cause. Like, I personally do. I personally believe that there is, he is the opportunistic, if you want to put it that way. And that's a little off-putting that. And then he broke up. Wade broke up, as a matter of fact, Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears. And basically, and this is the most craziest things that I've heard from sources closest to Wade, is that he said that the day before he was supposed to meet up with Michael in certain aspect after the show, and he told a friend that and this gets a little bit crazy with the story, and he tells his friend that he knocked up Britney. And I was like, who's Britney? He said, and one of his friends told me was that it was Britney Spears. I'm like, what? You know what? I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna end this. I'm gonna end this part by saying, on the Wade chapter, which is that, he wasn't forced by Michael. No one forced Wade to testify for Michael, in favor of Michael. but in reality, you volunteered yourself, which is Wade, by the way, and you volunteered to, testify for Michael, for the defense. Why, and let me ask everyone, not just sex abuse victims, but also people who sees the reality of it, is that if you are going to be putting a quote unquote sex abuse victim, or someone who denies being abused as a child, even though in certain cases that's not the case, but apparently this is the elements of both as of now. And apparently Scott Ross, who was a private PI, if I'm correct, who worked for the defense for the Michael Jackson trial, and he explained to me that no, he didn't. I did not reach out to him. I'm sorry. I was just thinking about something else here. Scott Ross mentioned in interviews that Wade invited himself to the defense of Michael, because he desperately wanted, to defend his BFF, his idol, and etc. While in the meanwhile, James Safechuck in the film, in that same obligation, but as reverse psychology, saying that, like, he said that he talked to Michael during the trial, or before the trial started, that James quoted himself, remembering that, quote unquote, Michael called him to ask him to be on the witness for the defense, when James said that he told Michael that he don't want to do it no more, and then etc. Everybody, he claimed that Michael got mad and threatening him. That's a bunch of load, because I'm going to try to be more clear on this. And by far, this is the most ridiculous bullshit story that anyone has said in all my years of knowledge. So, Scott Ross, the same PI for the defense, and also the court transcripts in the 2005 molestation trial, the judge, Rodney Melville, cleared that Jimmy Safechuck, a.k.a. or James, whatever he wants to call himself, had not, is, not included, meaning that, it was off limits, because they're not reliable, and their stories is not incredible, even if before whatever happened. And there's a lot of silliness things that goes on. I don't know, but I do know this, is that both of them are obviously doing something for the money, and but I will explain to you to the next episode of the Paul Altman Show, the ending, start and end, the podcast. So, alright, thank you so much. May God bless you. Thank you.